Zach Ariani's here with Delaware Live Sports here with St. Elizabeth head coach Mike Lemon. And coach, great season this year. Very difficult to get back to where you guys have gotten back to. Talk a little bit about the resiliency of your team to be able to, with expectations, exceed them, get back to where you guys are right now on the doorstep of a state championship.
Yeah, it was a unique situation. Returning the guys that we knew were coming back, being at the doorstep of the championship last year, but having to be humble about the approach this year. Just getting there last year doesn't guarantee that you're going to get back. And that's one thing about sports, and you can ask anybody that's ever played, opportunities are few and far between. And we set out August 15th, we said we're at Canby Park. Our feet are at Canby Park. Let's focus on today. Let's get better today. And then when tomorrow comes, we'll get better tomorrow. If we're fortunate enough to get ourselves into a playoff conversation mid-season, which we started focusing on, hey, things are a reality now. We've won District 1. We clinched that with the win against Charter, and then we knew we were going to the playoffs. So then we said, all right, let's continue to believe. Things are out in front of us. And I tell the players, you've done that to yourself. You've given yourself that opportunity by the way you played. But, and they really attach themselves to that one day at a time, be where your feet are mentality starting back in August. And now here we are all the way in December, December 10th coming up pretty soon. And we had that great opportunity to go back to the University of Delaware and see if we can change the outcome.
Absolutely. Last semifinal game, took on a tough Seaford team. Obviously, they presented challenges to a lot of teams this year. Back and forth battle there. I mean, do you feel like that was good for your team to get tested in a semifinal game, knowing you're going to get into a battle this upcoming week with Laurel?
Yes. Obviously, the game of football has its ups and downs, has its adversities. We've had some games this year where we kind of set the tone early, and it wasn't that back and forth battle. But there's still challenges each week. And we going into that Seaford game, we knew they had athletes. They were big. They have a great recipe down there right now. And they have talent coming back. But talent at the skill position, good speed, and then big up front, we knew we were going to be in for a four-quarter game. And, since the moment we kind of knew that the playoffs were approaching, we talked about the belief in getting back to where we wanted to be and seeing it through. Knowing that there's a quote out there, the champions stay. They stayed the course. And Seaford was going back, like you said, going back and forth with us, giving everything they had. Hats off to them for coming up and competing hard in that semifinal game. But we had to stay the course. And we're going to have to do the exact same thing come Saturday the 10th. Laurel is going to come up here fired up, defending champs, undefeated, have a great program. And we're just going to have to stay the course. They're going to make plays. And, we saw that against Seaford. We got up a couple touchdowns and they made a play. And then same thing, it's going to come this Saturday. We expect nothing but obviously Laurel's best. So to have that test in the playoffs, in a semifinal game, was great for our players to see that if you stay the course, good things can happen.
And obviously it's a rematch, right? Last year, took on Laurel down at Delaware Stadium. Didn't go the way that you guys would have wanted it to. What do you feel like is going to be the key for you guys to turn that fortune this year in the big rematch?
We've talked all week about it's a championship game. Last year we did a similar thing, but now we have 9 seniors that played in that game and kind of know the moment. Now, look, Laurel's bringing in guys that played in that game as well, and that's why I truly think this is going to be a battle. They have multiple guys on their up front and in their skill position that played in that game. But so do we now, and I truly believe that our players understand that in a championship game, having that experience on losing, that we weren't tight enough. We didn't make the big play when we needed it, or we weren't opportunistic when we could have been, and we see that. We went back and, we watched the game film from last year, and I told the fellas, I said, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. We're going to sit here. We broke it up into 2 days on our bye week. We watched the first half, and then we watched the second half the next day. And it's not easy. It's not easy for a coach, right. But, you go back and you say, hey, look at these moments in the game. And a lot of those guys are back this year, and I think we've really kind of had that sink in last week during our bye about what the importance of every play in a championship game is, and saw that. And now I think if these guys come out and understand that will help us and help benefit our possible positive outcome in the game.
One of those guys that's coming back is Kasim Benson. He's done everything for you guys. He's been an exceptional athlete the last few years under your lead here. Last year was a little bit hobbled coming into the game throughout the playoffs. Seems like he's a little bit more healthy this year. I know how tough it could be when one of your leaders may be hobbled. It can bring the team morale down. This year, having him healthy, it's got to be a little bit extra boost for your guys. Do you sense that as a coach? And obviously, how important do you feel like he's going to be in this game as an X factor?
Yeah, well, you want to have all your guys at peak strength for a championship game, right? Any coach would give you the same response. And last year, we still went out there with the mindset of we got to go compete regardless of situation and circumstances, because you got to stay true to the commitment you made. We were trying to commit, make that commitment to be champions. We fell short. Hats off to Laurel last year, regardless of the circumstances. But now we flash forward to Saturday. He's had a great 2 weeks of prep. He looked very, very sharp against Seaford, and we believe that if we can give him opportunities, as a senior, I think that young man's going to go out there and put the pedal to the metal and run as hard as he can and give us his best effort, feeling as good as you could at this point in the season for him.
There we have it. Coach Mike Lemon of St. Elizabeth, best of luck on Saturday in a rematch versus Laurel. Thanks again.
Thank you.